Fuck nigga, and it's like that. Welcome back to another episode of Survival Time. I'm your host with the most squanty cash money, nigga, and we about to get into my nigga Lil Sodi. We just did a little episode on Lil Sodi. He was speaking on like the OGs and stuff like that. But we about to get a little deep into bro. I kind of want to get to know him a little bit more. So we're gonna see what's up. We're gonna see where he from, and I know he from A-Trade Gangster, but I want to see where, you know what I'm saying, how he came up.
Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm gonna talk about A-Trade Gangster Crip rapper Lil Sodi. Sodi will be born James Simpson on April 22nd, 1982. Lil Sodi will grow up with parents from A-Trade Gangster Crip, and that's one of the most notorious Crip gangs in Los Angeles. A-Trade Gangster Crips are a gang from the west side of South Central. They will be founded in the 1970s and later become one of the most deadliest and deepest gangs in LA, and one of the most notorious for various wars and highly publicized crimes and events. Growing up, Lil Sodi would see a lot with both of his parents being full-fledged gangbangers. They were so heavy in the streets, Lil Sodi would have to move in with his grandparents, where they would try to keep him away from that type of life, keeping him in church with them being Christians and strict grandparents. Being around the gangster lifestyle, Lil Sodi would be heavily influenced and later got put on by the A-Trade Gangsters. He would take the name Lil Sodi after his dad Big Sodi. Being in the streets would lead to Lil Sodi being in and out of jail most of his life. Being locked up, Lil Sodi began doing music and developed a passion for it. After he was released from jail, he was determined to make it in music, and he went all in. His experiences would make it easy for him to rap, where everything he was growing.
That's actually what's up. At least he got out of jail and actually tried to change his plans and shit and actually cat up on some new shit. I fuck with him though. He got a good mindset as far as like what he was trying to do. I fuck with how he carried himself as far as when he was here. This actually let you know a little bit more about as far as like how he was thinking and where he was trying to go, what he was doing. So I could see this. I fuck with this.
I'm seeing and everything he was doing. His early rap influences will be people like Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Too Short, E40, among many others. Sodi's first mixtape would be called Back to the 80s, which was a 16-song mixtape that came out in 2011. At this time, he was affiliated with Big Face 100, which is the rapper The Game's brother. Lil Sodi's most known song from that mixtape was Hard in the Paint. Sodi would diss several rival gangs of the A-Trade Gangsters, like the Rolling 40s, the Rolling 60s, the Rolling 90s, and several other gangs affiliated with the neighborhood Crip car. Biggest thing on this song, he dissed fellow up-and-coming rapper Nipsey Hussle, who was on the rise in 2011 just like Sodi. This is when YouTube just started taking over.
I ain't gonna lie, that's how I actually heard of him in the first place, was because he was dissing Nipsey, because I fuck with Nipsey. I actually listened to Nipsey. I was listening to Nipsey back then, so that's how I actually heard about him, was because he was dissing Nipsey, was because he was dissing Nipsey Hussle. But the thing is, he grew on me because at first I did not like him at first because I didn't know who he was. I just knew he had beef with Nipsey, but I didn't really hear none of his music though. But eventually I got to hear his interviews and stuff like that and see what he was on and just see like what type of rapper he was and what type of person he was. And I caught an understanding that he was kind of just dissing Nipsey because like he was kind of trying to promote himself a little bit, but it ain't no different from all these other rappers, so I ain't really too keen with that. I just, as long as he ain't just no dead people, as far as I would say.
Many young rappers were trying to build their name on the internet. This would get Sodi a lot of backlash. Sodi would say he dissed Nipsey because Nipsey dissed the A-Trade Gangsters in one of his songs. More shots would be fired between the two. Nipsey would diss Sodi on a song called Same Hoes with the rapper The Game and Ty Dolla $ign. His verse on the song, Nipsey would say that Sodi got beat up, but the two would later run into each other and they would shake hands and the situation was dropped.
Of course, there was some animosity there because of our history. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't never hung out together. He from a different generation than me. So I'm from A-Trade Gangster. He from 60. Yeah, of course, how you think he knew of me? Of course. You know what I'm saying? They telling them the history. You got to know about it to be able to talk about it.
Right. Sodi would later be introduced to Young Jeezy through a mutual friend. They would develop a relationship and he would get close to Young Jeezy's crew. He would even move to Georgia for a short time period, but Lil Sodi would later get arrested and put on house arrest. 2016, Sodi would drop a 24-song mixtape called Move or Die. It featured rappers like Glasses Malone, Trey D, and Freddie Gibbs. And in 2018, he dropped another tape called LA.
I could say this much though, at least he's still pushing with the music. At least he ain't like just turning straight to the life of crime. He probably, I don't know what he was going to jail for. Y'all let me know if y'all know anything, but it don't sound like he was going to jail for nothing major. He probably was going to jail for keeping a gun on him or something, which I can't blame him for because he a gangbanger and like shit like that, as far as he got enemies and shit from him. So that's one thing I could say, like when you in that shit, you can't get away from it even when you trying to get away from it, because at the end of the day, whatever you done did throughout your time time frame, niggas is still gonna chase you for. And you never know where a nigga come from when it come to these things. So that's one thing I can say. I don't fault no rapper for carrying no gun on them.
With the biggest song being called back to the 80s with rapper Afro Man. Sodi would later do time in prison, which put his career on hold, and he even suffered one of the biggest tragedies of his life with losing his son who died in a fire. This would forever change him. Over the years, Sodi became a positive voice in his hood and his community, trying to teach his young homies the right way and trying to promote peace. On March 31st, 2019.
This is what I really want to say right quick, because that's what I know him for, and that's what I fuck with him for. And that's why I ain't too much attacking him, because at the end of the day, I know he actually was out here like pushing peace, like he was really actually out here on the movement, and he was out here encouraging motherfuckers to do better. I didn't know he lost his son. No, RIP to his son, and RIP to him also. I really want to say this though, when it comes to going to jail and stuff like that, that's another thing niggas don't think about. We don't think about the fact that if something happened, or if your mama gets sick, or if something happened to your child or anything like that, you not there. You know, you wish you was there if you could have been, and what could have happened if you were there for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? These are things that you gotta sit and live with if you stuck in that box for however long you stuck in that box for, because you can't come out and save nobody. You can't come out and do nothing, and that's something you really should think about before you do anything crazy with your life or with your time, before you know what I'm saying, choose to waste it.
Hustle will be shot and killed, and many other gangs from across the city of Los Angeles will come to the 60s hood to pay their respects to Nipsey. This brought the 60s and the A-Trays together for the first time in 40 years, with the once being friends turning sworn enemies. And Sodi was an A-Tray gangster that was there showing his respect.
The death of Nip, that's what brought the city together, the Crips, the Bloods. You know what I'm saying? A few people from 60s, Black Peace Stone, Bloods, Crips, my hood. You know what I'm saying? We all came together, man. You know what I'm saying? For the city, and it was only right for them to reach out to me and invite us to the occasion. You know what I'm saying? We're a big part of this city too. And everybody like, yeah, bro. And it touched me when he died, because we was supposed to do something together. My homie had Big Mad Bone, shout out to Mad Bone, and my father Big Sodi. They was gonna hook up with Big U and put something together and make it like not just a song. It was gonna be media involved and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was like, damn, that was gonna be big, like for the community. So it touched me that, you know what I'm saying, that was taken away.
People from your area have felt a certain kind of way about you doing anything with them. I'm sure they probably felt a certain way about you even being cool with them.
Some people, bro. But once I had posted rest in peace Nipsey Hussle, bro. Right. You see all the gangsters posted. It was like they was waiting for me to say something, to respond. Like they didn't want to disappoint me, or say, if I say rest in peace to Nip, is the homie gonna be mad, or you know what I'm saying? But nah, it was on they own shit. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have nothing to do with us. Right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was a lot of rest in peace from my homies and other.
I fuck with him for that though. He squashed that shit. He didn't carry that shit in that man death. He didn't do none of that. He speak on this man in any interview. He speak highly of Nipsey. He never speak down on Nipsey. He never come at Nipsey. He never call him a punk or this, that, and the third. He never call him a pussy. None of that. He never you know what I'm saying, acted over tough about Nipsey. He always kept it honey. I always respected that whenever watching his interviews. Whenever he spoke on Nipsey, and even to like his death. I always fucked with that. I always thought that was dope, because very few niggas is even mature enough to even do that. Very few niggas is even mature enough to put their differences to the side for a situation like this, because Nipsey actually is such a big figure and things like that right now, to this generation and everybody coming up, everybody especially in California most likely. But I fucked with Nipsey real heavy, so I don't know how everybody else around the world felt, but I know this was major for me to see, like as a fan type shit.
Gangsters, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of homies respect what he did. They liked his music, and it showed when he passed though. They played it more, you know what I'm saying? You hear people play it more that you never heard. You like, dang. Right. Like, they just playing it out of, you know what I mean? But
months later, an A-Tray gangster will ruin a mirror of Nipsey. Sodi would even pay for it to be fixed out of his own pocket. With Sodi going in and out of jail, he would understand and learn to respect the other side.
Waited for us to do that. People waited for us to do that, bro. Like, they waited for us to diss his name and do a whole lot of bullshit. Like, I always keep it gangster, bro. Like, one of my homies had went over there and crossed his shit out on Slauson. And yeah, he crossed it out and they hit me. And I had went over there and I paid and got that shit did. I fixed that, bro. Really? But it wasn't put out there that I fixed it. You know what I'm saying? It was put out there that all the rest of them was fixed. You feel me? But AD and Big U and them, they know, bro, that I went over there like a man and paid the essay to fix that. when my homie did that. You feel me? Just out of respect, bro. We don't disrespect the dead on this side of the earth.
Over the last few years, Sodi would do several interviews and be talking about his life a lot, and he would start doing back music again. He would drop another tape called Too Good for Hell and Too Bad for Heaven. Early July of this year, Sodi would get into a viral fight with rapper Young Buck. He would say the fight started over Young Buck's antics. He would address it in a few interviews and state that Young Buck was drunk and started the issue. He would say he punched him and the fight was broke up after that point. Both rappers Afro Man and Young Buck would address the situation on their own posts on their social media. August 3rd, Sodi will be at the A-Trey Gangsta Hood Day, showing love to his hood and his community as he always did. But in the early morning of August 4th, Sodi would die in a car crash. It was met with speculation on what happened. Some say it was a driving drunk incident leading to his death, but whatever it was, he died too early.
Rest in peace to Lil Sodi. I didn't know how he passed. I ain't gonna lie, that's fucked up. I didn't know he passed in a car accident. That's a tragic ass situation. I want to send my prayers out to his family. I want to send my prayers out to his children's mama. She lost the father of her children and she lost a child. I really want to say this though, he was a real nigga for sure because he never died. Like I said, when I seen him dissing motherfuckers, I never seen him diss a dead person. You feel me? I never seen him. Cause I don't know. You feel me? Maybe motherfuckers got a better clarity of his music than me, but personally, I never seen him diss the dead. And like he said, as far as his Nipsey shit, I didn't even know he fixed the mural. So you feel me? That's news to me. Shit, I fuck with that. I think that's dope. You feel me? Because that was supposed to be his quote unquote enemy. You feel me? So that show you, like I said, the maturity that this man carried throughout his life. And I wish more people was like this. I'm glad that the situation as far as his son didn't change him for the worse, because a lot of people would have went a whole nother route with that, but he chose to make a better positive impact on motherfuckers. I think that's dope. Fuck is you talking about? I fuck with that. And it's not, I really be thinking that niggas is gonna end their videos off with this, but a lot of, like 90% of these niggas do not end their videos off like this. So I want to salute this nigga for sure. I want to say RIP to Lil Sodi, and I want to shout everybody out from his camp or whatever. Shit. I also know he came up under Monster Cody also. We won't get into that though. We're gonna leave that alone. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna leave that alone. Anyway, yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, peace. We out.
Hey, gotta know your purpose, understand what work is. They snakes is lurking, observing, trying to close your curtains. These hoes be perping. OG told me